Hello, everyone. This is Sherry, and you are tuned into the She Said What She Said podcast, where we interview badass women in the sports world and beyond. Happy post Super Bowl week. I'm not going to get too much into it, but when I was looking at what the guys' show was yesterday, they put this up. Yep, we did it. Detroit Rams. Let's go. Let's go. You got to give me something to celebrate in the world. A ton of Olympic stuff. We are going to get into that after our interview. So first, I'm going to bring in my fabulous co-host for the evening. Y'all know her, Miss Snacks. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, I'm back.
She's back. Can't get rid of her.
Nope.
Nope. How many years have I been friends with you? I don't know. 10, 9, 10?
A lot.
Yeah. Still haven't gotten rid of me yet, have you?
Like a virus. We're like viruses.
Yeah, we're the COVID. Here's another round of us. Hey. Hi.
This is the new variant.
I did want to say I'm sorry about the loss of your great aunt. I know that is a lot for the family. I love the family. So just wanted to send my condolences to all of you guys.
I appreciate it.
But I appreciate you coming on and joining me this evening.
I would not have missed it.
Damn straight. Because we have a new category of guests tonight. Because instead of doing us old heads where I'm looking to the archives of the photos to find people like, does this newspaper clip work well in a promo? We actually have someone that is a current professional athlete. And that is a first for us. So hopefully not the last. But needless to say, the photos to choose from for her were abundant. They were plentiful because she is still in action. So without further ado, I would love to introduce the defender number 3 for the Chicago Red Stars, Miss Arin Wright. Hey, Arin.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here and see what she said is all about.
Fantastic. Well, it's about badass women, and you fit the bill, so
Absolutely.
It is about you.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited to share and answer any questions everyone has.
Fantastic. So I did want to start with a quick wrap up of last season, because talk about a phenomenal season that you guys had. You made it all the way to the championship game. Extra time, couldn't quite pull it out. Oh, you guys did so well. It was such a great season, especially you guys were shorthanded. I mean, I don't like to make excuses, but you guys were shorthanded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, really just digging the dagger, and I feel like the dagger's still kind of in there. No one's pulled it out, so you just kind of twist it a little bit.
You got to have something to fuel you in the off season.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me personally, like this season meant more than anything to me, just because, coming back from having a baby, it happened to be the first time that it was ever held in Kentucky, which from Kentucky, so represent all my KY people. So it meant a lot to me. Like I had friends and family that had never been able to see me play there. And I mean, we were short staffed to say. We had people out coming back from a week of COVID, and then we had people that had fell to injury right before, and they were big parts of our team. But then, typical Red Star fashion, people stepped in and filled the roles they needed to. We couldn't push through the last half. It kind of fell in Washington's favor, and honestly, I feel like I still replay it to this day. Someone recently just sent me a clip of me and Trinity Rodman getting in it. I feel like I was in the moment again. But yeah.
But good. I mean, that will fuel you for how much does that fuel the off season for the team coming so close?
I mean, I feel like the Red Stars, we've got a pattern. Ever since I've been on this team, we've made a semi or a final. Like I feel it's a weird feeling as a professional athlete, especially in this league. Like it's rare that a team makes it that many times, but we were joking. I don't know what it's like not to make postseason. So I feel like it's more of an expectation with the Red Stars. Like we're the club you want to be at. And but it definitely fuels us because this is 2 back-to-back years we're making finals and we're falling short this much each time. So I feel like it's a hump that we finally just have to get over. And this year's so new. We had so many trades in the off season. Bought a lot of like coaching changes, a lot of different moves within the front office. So it's going to be a whole different team this year. So as much as that fuels us, I feel like we've got to find a bit of a new identity at the same time.
That's fair. That's fair. And when did you started preseason practice relatively recent, or did you even stop? Did you take a break? You took Christmas off, right?
No, I took a break, man. We had 2 months exactly this year, and I used it to the fullest. I feel like I was in Florida the day before we had to report for preseason. I maximized that because that is a short off season. So yeah, we started Feb 1. Physicals were, I think, January 28th. Then Jan 29th, we just kind of relaxed. And then, are there 30 days in January? Maybe I'm getting my days mixed up. I don't know.
31, I think.
31. Okay, then push that forward 2 days. And that was the timing. But yeah, we started Feb 1 and then we're in it right now. I think we've been 2 weeks. This will be the 3rd week. So it's going.
Indoor right now?
Yeah, we're out at SeatGeek. There's a indoor stadium, like a bubble right next to it. So we train in Chicago. We do not go outside before March. And I feel like the Challenge Cup schedule just released. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
no, I didn't.
Okay, there's 3 games in Chicago. I don't know if I think it's some are in March and some are in April. We have never in the history of the Chicago Red Stars played outside that early. So we're all like, oh no.
Yeah, that is pretty early.
In Chicago, it is.
Yeah.
That we're like
that is
yeah, we're nervous.
I might not come to those.
Yeah, there could still be snow on the ground.
Oh yeah. Oh, and we'll be running in it. You'll see our little tracks all over the field.
Oh man, yeah. I might try to catch those. Let's get someone to stream those, please, because
exactly. As long as you tune in online, I'm happy.
Right. Well, I missed the championship game. I was sad because I had months before booked the beluga experience at the Shed Aquarium, and that you had to book it months ahead, and I was like, it's the same time, but it's a beluga. So
beluga or soccer, beluga I guess always wins, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so if you haven't been to the Shed, I have a membership. I'm a total nerd. They have all these awesome animal experiences. The little one's too small for the beluga experience, but like you can go and watch them.
We actually just recently went to the Shed with him for the first time.
Oh,
and
nice.
A few of the girls came with. So it was like Auntie and Grady kind of like excursion. And it was hilarious because my son, the only sea animal he truly knows is the seahorse. And for some reason I taught him a seahorse goes like this. So he's like in the whole aquarium going like this. Oh, it was hilarious, but he had a great time. And the girls just like loved it. They hyped him up everywhere he went. It was like the best experience.
How old is he now?
He'll be 2 in April.
2.
Yeah. So he's, what is that? Is April 2 months away now, a month and a half. So he's 22 months. I'm not the mom that keeps track of the months. I'm like, oh, he's like a year and a half. I'm that mom.
That's probably the kind of mom I'm gonna be, because keeping up with all those months is like,
it's hard, right? People ask me, and honestly, I get a little stressed when they're like, "How old's your baby?" And I'm like, I know the way I'm supposed to respond. Like all the other people are like, "This many months," and I'm like, "Oh," I start panicking. I'm trying to do the math in my head. And I'm like, year and a half,
almost 2.
Yeah, right. He's close to 2.
It's weird when people say something like, "My kid's 31 months." You're like,
how old is that?
Right. Like, how long are you supposed to keep track of the month?
Exactly. It's
too many.
And
then do you what if their birthday's like in the middle of the month? Do you like say it before, like, oh, I'm 30 months, but then like how exact should
I'm already confused. I'm already confused and we're in the conversation. Like I'm gone. Oh, that's funny.
You're talking to the right people, because we are definitely the same way. We'd be like, me looking at little kid, like kids I know. I'm like, what are you, 6 now? They're like 9. I'm like,
oh yeah.
close,
And I come from a family of
close
6
enough.
kids, so I always underestimate kids' ages because the kids in my family are so big. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, so what is he, like 2? I know he's 5. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's so funny. I feel like I recently have just gotten good at like understanding kids' ages. The more like as Grady is now going into classes, we put him in daycare for the first time, and I'm like scouting out. I'm like, hey, what class is that? What class is that? I'm like, okay, I'm getting the age ranges here. I understand.
Yeah, you definitely need a frame of reference because
Yeah.
it's impossible.
Exactly.
For me, it's like whatever age you were when I met you.
You're forever young.
I might add 1 or 2 because I'm like, yeah, your son's like 9, right? My son is 18.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, I guess we've aged a bit. Okay.
Oh, well, I'm glad I met you at this age, so this is what you remember.
I know, right? We'll be at your 50th birthday party. I'm like, yeah, she's like 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
She's
fine.
still running up and down the field.
Wait, she's not playing professional anymore? That's weird.
I thought I saw her the other day. No,
No.
It's fine. It all blends together. So, speaking of children and babies, how old were you when you started playing soccer? Like, what got you into sports?
Lord, I started playing when I was 4. And honestly, if we're starting from the beginning, what got me into sports is probably my mom wanted some downtime, so she put me in a youth league.
Nice.
So I played for it's like LYSA, that's what Lexington Youth Soccer Association. And then I honestly continued to play every sport, but soccer and softball were like my constants until I was 12. I actually played with the boys team until I was 10 years old. And then they were like, Arin, I think you got to go to the girls team now. I was like, really? So then I went to the girls and I played on that team until I was 16. We were Lexington FC, so LFC. That was the big club in Kentucky at the time. And we actually folded when I was 16 years old because there were not enough girls playing soccer in Lexington. So I was like, oh, well, I'm actually like, I want to keep playing. So what do? I packed my bags and we joined Ohio Elite and we drove to Ohio.
So that's what I saw that in your
I was wondering. I'm like, did you live close to Ohio or did you just make the trip?
Because I'm thinking of the map. I'm like, because I understand like Cincinnati and Kentucky are right there, but I'm like, Lexington is there.
Yeah, no, we did the trek and they practiced.
Wow.
It was 2 or 3 days a week. So there were a few other girls on my team on LFC that wanted to continue playing. Okay. So we did like a family carpool. So one parent would take the kids one time, one parent the other time. Yep. But then there would be days because we were in Ohio now and they would get a lot of snow and they'd be like, all right, bring your shovels to practice. I'd be like, I don't think I'm gonna make this one.
So did your high school not have a team?
No, my high school did. So I played high school ball at West Jessamine, which is in Jessamine County, which is where I originally grew up in Garrett County, which is in Lancaster, Kentucky, which is about 40 minutes from Lexington. Jessamine County is probably 20 minutes from there. So I ended up moving to the Jessamine County area to play for a better high school team and be closer to club. And that's how I ended up at West Jessamine, which honestly was great because our coach there, I love him to death, Kevin Wright. Like I attribute a lot of who I am today to him because this man loves soccer to his core. Like, and he took, not while we were there, like we should have won some state championships, but I think he's won 2 state championships now there, like back to back. So I went to Ohio Elite, played 2 years there. So U17, U18. And then from there, it's history. I went to the University of Kentucky, then ended up at Chicago Red Stars after that.
That's pretty cool.
You missed out the part where you were Miss Kentucky
Miss
for
Kentucky
Miss
soccer.
Kentucky
Yeah.
soccer. Yeah. So I actually ended up being Miss Kentucky soccer. I feel like there's so many. I feel like in sports there's so many like little accolades that like you can't even like they give you an award for
because you
everything.
won all
Everyone
of
gets a medal.
them. I mean, when you're as good as you, that you win everything. And
Yeah, no, it
Sherry
was
is going to make you talk about all of them. So you might as well go ahead and start rattling them off now.
yeah, I'm over here. Honestly, to be honest, the biggest I remember like the ones that meant the most to me. So Miss Kentucky soccer was huge for me, and then in college I won the Blue Heart Award, which was an award for basically being a person who's gone through a lot in their life and won like the most inspirational award while also being a phenomenal athlete on the field and all of your accolades kind of combined. So it like that award meant a lot to me because
Was
that's
that
not just my play, that's my character too.
Was that the Honda Inspiration
Yeah.
Award?
Yeah. So it basically told my whole story.
Mm-hmm.
From soccer and then to my mom and our whole family stuff that we went through to me tearing my ACL in college. So it was basically a combination of all that. So honestly, that award, like really, it's like the one that stands out. I feel like all of the rest kind of blend into the background. And I feel like a lot of athletes are like that. Like you have a few that really mean a lot to you and like really ring true to who you are at your core. And that one is one for me. I feel like there's like SEC. Did I get SEC Player of the Year? I don't know. You told me.
Sure did. You got SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and then you won. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's for like the top college player. You won that one, and then you were a finalist for ESPNW Female Athlete of the Year. Yeah.
See, once you say them, like I remember, but like I said, like athletes have certain moments in their career that they're like that one. Yep. I'll hold that. I'll put that one on the mantle.
Fantastic. Do you have the Honda one on your mantle?
I do at my dad's house. We actually just bought this house.
Yeah.
As people can see, it's empty because of COVID, you don't get any furniture in a reasonable amount of time. So I have this one bar stool I'm sitting on to talk to you guys. So I do have that, and that one sits on my mantle. Actually, one that sits on my mantle. This is hilarious. It's a 3v3 championship back when we were like, I can't remember. Some of me and my best friends, we were like maybe 10 or 12. We went to a 3v3 tournament in Disney, and man, we were Got Grills. That was our team. We wore polka dot socks, lime green shirts, and bows in our hair. That one sits on the mantle too.
Nice.
So yeah, and also recently I got inducted into the Hall of Fame at Kentucky, and that one actually, that one's here. It's back in the closet because I don't have any shelves to hang it on, but that one is at my home currently.
That is fantastic. So did you think of going to another school, or was it just Kentucky was running through your blood?
Honestly, I did. I need Kentucky people on here. I'm sorry. I really did want to branch out of Kentucky. The main reason that I wanted to stay was because my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer when I was 16 years old, which is kind of in the soccer world. Like it was a weird time for that to happen in my life because I feel like you verbally commit and stuff like that around that age. So we were looking, and my mom, like as I'm sure a lot of moms nowadays, they were like writing letters to all the colleges, and I was like, I don't need to do that. My mom's over here like writing all of them for me. But I was like looking at UCLA, looking at Texas A&M, a bunch of different places. Like I kind of wanted to get out. But then when my mom got the diagnosis, I feel like I was still looking, but in my heart of heart, I knew that I wasn't going to go anywhere but Kentucky. And they basically sold me on my visit. I was like, okay, done deal.
Absolutely. And that's a young age to have that your mother go through that. So
yeah. And I had
go ahead.
My little brother's also 8.5 years younger than me. So he was super young at the time. And my dad, bless his soul, he's a funny individual, and there's no way I could just like let him and my brother kind of go through that alone without me there. So that was another big like contributing factor for me wanting to stay.
And you just answered my question because my mom was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer when I was 25.
Really?
And yeah, it impacted a lot of the decisions I made about staying close to home and not moving away. And I was just going to ask if, her diagnosis and if you had any siblings and if those
Mhm.
two factors, affected your decision to go ahead and stay.
Yes, 100%. That was like the driving factor because I sat there and I thought about, if I'm on the other side of the country and, my dad needs something or my little brother, I feel like even now, like our relationship, I'm more of like a mom figure to him rather than a sister. And I feel like that's
Absolutely.
what you went through, like Snacks, you
Mhm.
would know, like it's different and it changes your relationship. And knowing me, and I'm a very family friend oriented person. Like I love my family to death and love my friends.
I'm the
But a
same.
lot of, yeah. And there's just, to stay true to myself, I had to stay home. That's
Mhm.
what I needed to do. Was it the best decision for my career in the long term? I don't know. I mean, I'm here where I am, but would it have taken me somewhere else if I had gone? Possibly. But I knew it was the right decision for me in the moment.
And do you
Now,
still do cancer advocacy work at all?
I do every now and then. I actually just recently did I shoot with Ally.
I
I'm sure
saw
you
that
guys saw.
video.
Yeah, I'm sure you
I'm
saw
an
the
Ally
video.
customer, so I got it.
Yes.
ah,
So basically, I got to put a donation towards anything of my choice,
Mhm.
and I put it towards cancer research. So when I can, I try and do the most
Mhm.
to promote that. Especially, I feel like colon cancer. It's a sneaky one. Like it
Yes.
sneaks up on you, And then this is another kind of layer to the story. My husband's mom passed away when he was, I think, 16 as well from breast
oh,
cancer.
oh, wow.
So yeah, so I mean that's a big reason we kind of like our stories kind of meshed and how we bonded so quickly. And so I feel like that really rings true in our household.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah, I
so
mean, it's to have such a monumental thing, in your teenage years. A lot of other people can't necessarily understand that.
yeah.
My dad lost his mom to colon cancer when he was 21, I think.
Wow.
Um, so,
And it's crazy with
yeah,
colon cancer. I feel like Snacks, I don't know if you've like reached out to anyone about like getting a colonoscopy, but I tried to get a colonoscopy and they denied me.
really.
So
They
when
yeah,
Or you have to
when my
wait
mom
until it's
was,
about their age, I think.
they
yeah, they
want
told
you
me.
to, they want when my mom was diagnosed, they told me and my siblings that we should all start getting screened 10 years younger than the age she was when she was diagnosed,
Mhm.
and she was 45. So when I
Okay.
turned 35, I was like, okay, well, we know she didn't have it at 40, so I'll just wait until I was 40.
Mhm.
And then something in my head clicked because they've been saying the stats with colon cancer in young people are going up. So I went in to try to get checked, explained to them, my mom, stage 3, they said we should start getting checked early. And they said, wait until you're 40.
Exactly. That's the same scenario I had, and I couldn't believe it. I just like I even had like the prep and everything, and then I had someone call me and they're like, actually, we can't find any records of your mom at the university. And I'm like, wait, so you don't think my mom passed away of colon cancer? You think I just
Right.
called you and tried to set this up for no reason?
You did the whole prep for it?
Yeah, no, they got it. It was like kind of approved or something. So they
Yeah.
sent that like jug, that all that stuff you gotta chug
You got to
to the
drink the stuff
pharmacy.
and
So
They
you
got
did the
it.
worst part of it and you
I
couldn't.
know I didn't do it. It was the day before.
Oh, okay.
okay.
They called me and they canceled it. And I was like, oh, cool. So then I just sat with that jug of stuff for I don't know how long, and I eventually tossed it out. But I'm glad we're talking about this because this reminds me I gotta call my doctor try and get in again because they told me they were because my mom same age 45, I think she was 45 when she was
Mhm.
diagnosed, 45 or 46, and
Mhm.
they told me at half her age is when I should
Hmm.
go.
Okay.
So I'm close. I'm definitely over. I'm turned 30 this year, 29.
Ah,
So
Yeah.
I guess it depends on like the type of colon
mhm.
cancer and where it was, because they definitely just told us to wait, 10 years, because
Yeah.
hers was a slow growing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so they said it could have started when she was much younger, but because it mimics so many other just normal gastrointestinal issues, there was no way of her knowing that,
Yeah.
it was something growing. And like I said, they said, just wait until you're 40. And I said, okay, I'm not going to fight y'all. Because now they've changed the process a little bit. You have to do Miralax and Gatorade.
What?
Yes, you have
the
to
mixture.
Yes, you pour the Miralax in the Gatorade, and you have to. I think you can spread it out amongst 2 of the 32-ounce bottles, but it's Miralax and Gatorade. That's what they have. Because my mom, she has to go back and have them redone every 5 years, and if they find something, she has to come back sooner. But she just had to have another one earlier this year, and it was Miralax and Gatorade.
I was literally about to ask you how your mom was, so I'm very happy to hear that she is in remission. That's awesome.
Yes, she I guess they found it in time enough for her to just need surgery. So she is missing part of her colon, but other than that, they find a polyp every now and then, and they just keep an eye on it. But she has not had a reoccurrence, thank God.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And there's tons of colon in there, so they want to take a little bit, that's fine.
Right, yeah. A bunch is fine.
I remember Googling the colon. I was like, man, that's all in there? Holy crap.
A lot. And I'm just like, where is all of that fitting? How is things moving? If it's all smashed in there. Like, it is when you have to do that, those little searches just to see like what the hell is going on. And is a whole foot of colon, like, can you die if they take a whole foot of colon? And it's like, no, you'll be fine because there's so much.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I hope a lot of people are learning about the colon right now. And
I didn't expect it to go this way, this conversation, but
you know what? I'm kind of glad it did kind of take.
I was going to say, but it's so important for it
like
know your family history.
And the numbers are going up amongst people in our demographic, those late 20s and 30s.
Oh, Snacks, we're not late 20s. I'm sorry, we're late 30s, but that's okay.
I was just about to say she is. We are not. So I had to cover everybody.
Thank you, Snacks. I appreciate that.
I will say I'm very glad that because my dad gets to go in every 5 years to get the little up the butt test, I don't have to start doing it until I'm like the normal age. Because I asked my doctors, and I think my dad had one the other week or something. Like, enjoy, Ted. Yeah. Enjoy.
When it becomes a regular, I'm probably not going to be on here being like, I couldn't get a colonoscopy. I'm probably like, oh no, my colonoscopy is coming up in a month.
Right. Like, I definitely have to have one next year. And it's February. I know I don't have to do it until at least next February because that's when I turn 40. And I'm already nervous. Like I think
anxiety's already set in. Yeah.
Yes, I think about it way too much.
Well, I can take you, Snacks, if you'd like me to take you for your 40th birthday colonoscopy.
Yay!
That's what friends are for.
That would be a great birthday present.
Oh my gosh.
So transitioning a little bit from, that stuff. How was it? How did you feel when you got drafted? What was that, 2015 or 14 that you got drafted?
It was, so I finished college 2014, so the draft was January 2015.
Oh,
so that would have been my first. That would have been my first season. I honestly was in Maui at the time. So my aunt, so my mom's sister, her and her husband own a house in Maui, and they live there part-time. Live in Ohio, Cincinnati part-time. So it just happened to be a time that we were vacationing, and I was like, oh no, the draft is happening while we're here. So my whole family got up at like 3 a.m. I think it was like 2 or 3 a.m. And we're just like at the computer, all just like waiting. And honestly, it was a cool, really cool feeling at that time. I think some people went, but the draft wasn't as big because it was still, the league was still pretty new. But I just remember getting a call, and I initially thought that I would be going think it was the 5th pick. So Chicago
Mhm.
had the 5th pick, the 8th pick, the maybe 10th and 11th or 9th and 11th. I can't remember. We had a lot of picks that season.
Right. Yeah.
And so I remember getting a call from Rory at the time being like, hey, like, we're going to bring you. And we're thinking about picking you at 5. And I was like, okay. So like, I kind of going in, I was like prepared and kind of knew what to expect. But then 5 hit and it wasn't me. And it was Stephanie McCaffrey. And so then I'm like sweating. I'm like, what was this call? Like, what? So it ended up, I'm not sure if you guys know the history of Roy, but he was a great like draft person. Like he could manipulate to get the people that he needed on teams like so well. And so he had actually pre-planned, but didn't want to tell me to make a trade for Steph to Boston and then took me at 8, knowing that he would then get Danny and Sophia and the next numbers. So like it all ended up working out, but I had a slight panic attack because well, I thought I was going to Chicago. I had already pre-planned kind of my life in Chicago. But it was such a cool feeling. And like, I feel like at that age, like number one, you're just excited for a new adventure. But then I also had no idea what to expect at all. You know, you've never played pro and you're just excited to get there and prove yourself and see how you stacked up to the competition.
Well, you stacked up well because I believe you started almost every single game your rookie year, FYI.
No, there was one game. No, let me correct you.
I said almost every.
There was one game, and let me tell you, I was pissed. I mean, I'm a Capricorn, so I can't like hide my emotions very well. And like if I'm pissed, you know I'm pissed. And there was a game I remember it was the beginning of my rookie season, and he didn't start me. And I came in at halftime and they zoomed up. My friends died laughing. They died laughing because they texted me after the game. They zoomed up because I was coming on a half, I think, and my face was like this. I mean, just like it was like first pro like start, like I guess not start, but time on the field, and like I just looked pissed. But that's the competitor. I feel like that's the kind of motivation you need to play at this level. Like you have to kind of be wired in a weird way like that to succeed in this league. I feel like every professional athlete at this level has a weird quirk about them that makes them ultra competitive in a sense.
Now, something that I saw and was interested in, how does the whole loan process work? Like, how do you get loaned to another team as a player?
Yeah, so basically, I guess I'll use my loan when I went to Australia, for example. So at the time, our league was only going until October, I think. I can't really, it's been a while, been here a while. But it ended earlier and we had a longer off season. And the W League, which is the league in Australia, ran from about end of October to Feb or November to Feb. So it was the perfect like tandem. I can play in the NWSL and I can go play in the W League. So honestly, so if Chicago owns, like they've signed you in a 2-year contract, but you want to go in between those years over to the W League, they still technically own your rights. So there has to be an agreement where the clubs talk to each other and be like, hey, she's on contract with us. However, we will loan her to you from this date to this date. And you guys can have your contract and do whatever. And then when that date is over, she reports back to us because we still own her rights.
Okay, so it's a player initiated thing and not necessarily a team contacting another team and saying, hey, we need somebody.
It can be both. It depends. Like some people are free agents, players are free agents, and some people have agents. And for me, I've never had an agent. I've just kind of maneuvered it all on my own, contracts and everything. And then some people don't like to do that negotiation process. And also costs money to have an agent. Which, as you guys know, we don't make a lot of. So it really just kind of depends. Like for me, that club, Newcastle, I reached out to them because I wanted to play in the W League. I got a response back from them saying that they were interested. And from there, I reached out to Chicago and let them know about the conversations going on. But it can be different where, you know, maybe a club reaches or you tell your agent, hey, I might be interested in going here. Your agent makes that connection with another team to see if they're interested. then from there, it's a kind of triangle between that club, the agent, and the club you currently play for.
Okay.
So there's a lot of negotiation that goes back and forth within it. And sometimes the club that you play for is like, nope, that's not going to work. So it just really depends on the situation at hand.
Okay. And which league are there? Okay, I'm going to make you choose. Which league did you enjoy playing in more?
I mean, it's hard because like I like the leagues for different reasons. So the NWSL, by far the talent base, is one of the best leagues in the world, if not the best. And when you come here, it's like you're in it and you're like, there's no off days. You can't let your mind shut off for a second when you're in season. The W League, what I liked about it is I had the ability to play a different position there. I played more of like an attacking role, which is back to my college days where I was a forward. So I played more of like a forward and almost a 10. So it's a little bit more lax there, that league. It's not as saturated with talent. There is great talent in pockets of it, but it's not every single player and on every single team is like this. It kind of teeters. So with that comes the ability to kind of, when you go there, you can kind of, I don't know, stand out a bit. And so I actually got to grow my game a lot in a different way that I wasn't able to here. So there were things like back to pressure, working on little touches in the midfield, like one touch layoffs, things that I would never really do here because I play outside back and that's just not something that's asked of you. And there's no way if you throw me in a game with some of the best players in the world that I could just like practice that, there's no room for error in the NWSL.
Absolutely.
Where I feel like in the W League, there's a little bit more room for error and you can grow as a player. I also really liked the balance in the W League. Like I could balance life outside of soccer and soccer really well. Also you're in Australia. It's like one of the most beautiful places in the world. So how could you not enjoy that? So it's like, is it a little bit of bliss that I'm in Australia and I just love it? I would like go to the beach go to practice from the beach in my bikini and rock up on my bike. So like that's totally different. Whereas here in Chicago, I'm like stuck in traffic for 2 hours.
We have a beach, thanks.
Yeah, but it's different.
It's not close to anything either.
Yeah, isn't Newcastle just north of Sydney?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours from Sydney.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I've been many moons ago. I was in Brisbane and Sydney and Cairns. Yeah, it's
but also like the
beautiful.
Fan base in Australia, like they love soccer in Australia, and they love it here too. But it's just like it's different. Like the way that soccer is like looked at in like a European country or like in Australia, honestly, any other place but here. It's so cool to be in that environment, and I feel like where they might have lacked a little bit in soccer, like talent throughout the team, they made up for in their professionalism of the club and how the players are played and treated. Like they set the bar. So I like them both for different reasons.
Are Australians ever mean?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding?
I was gonna say, I don't think.
I love Australians with all my heart. And like honestly, they could say something so mean to you, but it comes off nice.
Their accent
they
is
say
so funny. You're like, you're Australian.
Exactly. No, they're so welcoming and just like there was a saying, and I'm probably gonna mess up the saying, but they don't live like a lot of people in our society like live to work. Like they just live to work. They work to live.
Absolutely.
Like they're happy. Like they don't have to have the most. They're happy with what they have, and they make the most of their life out of that. And it just kind of shows in their personality. Like they're just such happy people. I feel like that's why I was so happy there. And my husband's always like, Arin, stop referencing Australia. Like he's like, you were only there for a short period of time. I'm like, I know, but I love them.
So you think you would go back, like when you're done?
I have made some like lifelong friendships in Newcastle. Like I really do love those people there and the families that I lived with. They're just amazing. And I definitely, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to go back. Like I still talk to the coach that's there now, and like the coach that was there when I was there. So it's just a matter of when does that work for me, you know, with that look like, and I'm married. So it's like, how do you make it all work? But I just don't have the timing. Will I go back 100%? I just don't know when that's going to be.
And, you know, tell your husband, I was in Australia for 4 weeks in exchange program when I was 15, and I still talk about it, of how much I love it. It just kind of like, once you're like, get like ingrained in the culture, you're like, I love this place. Snacks will never go because of the spider situation.
Oh, because I get all of those scary videos with like the dinner plate size spiders, and people always want to send me stuff about like snakes ending up in the toilet. And I like snakes. I'm a reptile girl, but I don't want to wake up in the morning and like, oh, let me go take my morning tea, and then I look and it's a snake in my toilet.
Stacks, let me tell you, my host families, if they were tuned in right now, I'm not sure they could be, but they both have hilarious. So I lived in 2 separate families, and they both have hilarious stories about me and their bugs there. So like Australia has insane amount of cockroaches. Like, I'm not kidding, like so many cockroaches, and these things they fly. And like my worst nightmare is insects. Like I think it could be a phobia. Like I really panic when insects are around me. And there was one night I remember I woke up screaming. And I like was banging on my host mom's door. I was like, there's bugs in here and they won't stop. And they're like coming in. They came and they got their house like when I don't know, debugged or whatever, where they come in with that stuff just for me because I was being such a baby about it. Then that was the first time. Then the next year I lived with the other family. I did the same thing, but it was cockroaches. So like there, it's very normal to like have a cockroach or two every now and then pop up.
My family is from down south, and they have the flying cockroaches and it's just normal. So that part is like, okay, I've seen it before. Yeah, it's kind of gross. It's kind of freaking me out, but whatever. But I have never seen a spider that was the same size as my face. And I am an arachnophobe. So I would have a panic attack, which would lead to a heart attack, and then I would die. And I wouldn't get to experience all the happy people because a spider would have killed me. So
well, have you ever heard, I might pronounce this wrong, but in Australia they have a thing called and I might butcher a goanna or goanna. Have you guys know what that is?
No.
Okay. When we get off this, I need you to go look it up. So I saw this thing and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like looks like a big lizard. Like it's like I don't even know, an iguana. Like it's so cute. And it was just on the tree. So if the tree was this big, it probably took up this much of it. This thing was massive. So I'm like going up to it, like I'm gonna touch this thing. One of the girls with me that's Australian was like, what are you doing? Do not go. It had like claws this big. They're like dangerous. Like and I'm just the dumb American that's like going up, like trying to play with this really dangerous lizard.
Oh my God.
No, but you guys will die laughing even more when you get off this and go look this thing up. It's terrifying.
Can you put that in the private chat, please, of how to spell that?
Yeah,
because
I might actually. I'm just
gonna Google say it. Like, hey Google, show me a
goanna. Yeah, okay,
goanna.
that's.
I think that's how it's spelled, but I'm not sure. It could be spelled a little bit differently. But it's hilarious. Pop it up on the screen if you find one.
Yeah, I am going. You guys talk. I'm going to be looking for this.
I knew. I was just about to say Sherry is going to look it up right now. She is not.
I can do the overlay. Yeah,
it looks like a Komodo dragon. You know, with like.
I was just about to say, is it like is it a type of Komodo dragon?
That's what it kind of looks like, but its claws are like this long. And they're like scary, and they like are really fast, like they can run at you. But I didn't know any of this before the fact. Like I just was like, oh, that thing looks cool.
Too many things that seem to be cute and could kill you. Like I didn't know koalas were mean. Did not know that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go snuggle a koala. No, you're not, because they'll claw your eyes out.
I did hold one in so this is what Arin wanted to go and pet.
He is cute though.
I know, right? He's so cute.
it does look like something. You're like, oh yay, let me go rub its, rub its little back.
Exactly, like it's just like a little what are those geckos? Like it looks
like a gecko on steroids.
I gotta put that up again. Yep.
I would want to touch that. I'm not even kidding.
So they get to be the size of a house. Okay.
Yeah.
You must have seen a baby.
Right. If it was just on a tree, because that thing was huge.
Right. So we've had some adventures, in Australia. What would you say the biggest lifestyle change transition of becoming a professional athlete was versus being a college athlete?
I feel like for me, it was the structure. So in college, when you're an athlete, as you guys would know, they plan your whole day out for you. They plan in your lifting, they plan in your tutor, they plan when you're going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's all kind of set for you. So you kind of mindlessly walk around and just show up for things. As a professional, that's not the case. Your practice is scheduled and your lift, but then the rest of your day is just kind of open. And I remember getting here and being like, man, I'm bored. What do I do with my day? And so then I would do stupid things. I remember my rookie season, the amount of times I went shopping at Nordstrom Rack, and then I'd walk around that Oak Brook Mall because we lived out in Oak Brook. And it would be the day before a game, and I'm over here just trying to kill time because I'm bored because all I have is practice and lift. And then I'm exhausted because I did too much.
From doing all that learning.
Yes, and then just not really taking time to just chill and watch TV and recover, because I'm kind of a busybody. I constantly have to be doing something. I'm not good at being still, which I feel should be a New Year's resolution, because I feel I could benefit from that. But backtracking, it was hard to figure out a schedule with everything not being planned out for me, so that I was the most effective come game day. That was the biggest learning curve for me. Because then I'd be going out, I'd be like, oh, we've got time to go to lunch. We can go out to dinner too. So I was just doing the most absurd, doing the most when I needed to do less. So I feel that was the biggest adjustment for me, honestly. And just I'm trying to think. No, that was definitely the biggest.
And how was the adjustment after you had your baby?
Oh gosh. That's still adjusting. I feel children are ever evolving, and I feel there's Justin, I feel I've got things down pat, how it needs to be. He learns to climb stuff, and
oh, my little ninja. Yeah.
So I feel and also it was really hard. So I ended up having to have an emergency C-section.
Oh.
So I had a terrible pregnancy too. I was sick. So I played until I was about 7 or 8 weeks. And then I got so sick that I couldn't play anymore. My entire pregnancy, I puked maybe 6 to 10 times a day the entire time. It didn't stop. It wasn't just the first trimester. So I just had a terrible experience. I ended up gaining I think I gained 50 pounds.
So you were still able to gain even though you did all that puking?
Yes, because then I would puke and then I would just eat. Then I'd puke and then I'd eat, but I'm still eating it. But then I just puke it back up. So I remember there would be foods that I just could eat. And I lived at Jeff Jack at the time, which is the building right off Jefferson and Jackson. Barely West Loop. Basically, should call it the Loop. And there was a place right below it, a coffee shop. And for some reason, I could tolerate their chorizo breakfast tacos. And the amount of chorizo breakfast tacos I ate, it is disgusting. I can't even tell you guys. And then on the other corner, the one thing I could eat was the Slurpees from 7-Eleven, Mountain Dew. And so it was a combination of the two. And so let me tell you, that really backfired, because trying to come back to play after all of that, and then the emergency section was a lot. To have to, number one, get back fit, get my body back in
Mhm.
shape in the way that I needed it to be to play in this league. I feel like I'm still recovering from that. Like last season, I feel like it was like I kind of had to build myself in a season. By the end of the season, I was at a place where it probably wasn't that noticeable, but I still, in my mind, because I set the bar pretty high for myself, I wasn't where I needed to be. And I still feel like I'm still struggling now because it's not easy to come back from having a baby, let alone a C-section. It's very hard. And to play at the highest level with that is even harder. And then trying to navigate being a new mom in a city where my husband's not from here and I'm not from here, so we don't have like, you know, the family to help here and there.
Yeah.
That's just another layer to it.
And then COVID,
luckily,
the little COVID thing that happened.
yeah, and then COVID, you know. So it was a lot emotionally, physically, mentally. It was a lot, but I wouldn't take any of it back because I feel like it changed me a bit as a player and a person, in the sense that I feel like I was pretty guarded before with my emotions and like letting people help me, and was pretty stubborn and still stubborn. Let me tell you, I'm still stubborn, but I'm not as stubborn. And I feel like I've let my guard down and I've gotten a lot closer with a lot of my teammates and people outside of soccer that like I actually reached out to for help, and they like, you know, brought groceries to my house during COVID so I didn't have to go out and, you know, go shopping. And then teammates that are like always like, oh, we'll watch Grady for a little bit, or like we'd be traveling through like the airport and so it'd be like, let me get Grady while you've got this bag and the stroller, and then all Grady's food that he decided he didn't want to eat that you're trying to carry in all your hands. So honestly, like it really, this whole experience has made me better as a person. And that's like the best thing I could have asked for. I didn't really see that happening. Like I couldn't have said, hey, like I feel like I'm going to change like in all these different ways that I did.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The little baby.
No, you know, he's so cute. I wish I could go wake him up and show you guys.
I was just about to say, is he awake? Because it is very quiet, and you said he is almost 2. So I
know. Listen, we started a regimen when he was little that he goes down at 7 and he sleeps until like 7:38 every night, and he's done it since he was itty bitty, and I don't break it. Listen, someone's like, hey, we're gonna have a dinner party at 7:30. I'm like, can't be there. Can't break the routine.
No,
right?
No,
y'all got
because
blessed with a, yes. I hear so many horror stories about, you know, kids, even, you know, once they're older, they just don't sleep. So I wouldn't break the routine.
I feel like I always tell people I'm really nervous for whenever I decide to have another kid because it was the sleep aspect was too easy. And I know from what I put my mom through with myself, like I got something coming for me, and it might not have been Grady right now. Maybe it's him in the future. Or maybe it's the next baby with sleep, but I got something coming. So I'm very like you're anxious for the colonoscopy. I'm anxious for the next baby because I feel like I'm not gonna sleep.
Well, because my sister was a great little baby. I was colicky. I was too energetic. I was just, I was so, baby. It was, you know, I was the baby that my dad was like, yeah, time to get a vasectomy after this one. Like,
no, seriously, it was the same way in my family. I was first, and my mom said I was so easy. You know, I walked early, talked early, was potty trained early. And then my brother, no, absolutely not. Was the complete opposite. And she always says, like, if she had my brother first, she probably wouldn't have had any more children. So she tells him all the time, you better thank your sister that you're here, because she was so easy. She made me feel like I could do it again. So watch out. That's
I know. I'm like this thinking about it.
Well, enjoy the moments of rest that you have now, because you know who knows what's coming around the corner.
Oh, I know. Don't you put that juju on me.
It's the facts of life.
We got to get the championship in the city, and then you could go ahead and have another baby.
I was going to say, but first we need the trophy. So we have a few minutes before we put you to dinner time, but let's talk about what's coming up. I know won't get into it too much. Just hope the strike gets settled because, like you said, y'all don't get paid much. Y'all give the women whatever they want, please.
Right.
They are worth it.
Appreciate it.
Can we
Yes.
please play? So give us the details, the rundown, the season. How long is it? What is the months? If people wanted to come find you guys, where do you guys play? Just give it all the details.
So basically, our season runs. We start preseason February. The
Mhm.
final this year is October 30th. Where that is not scheduled. That's TBD.
Oh,
They actually haven't
Where are we
released the actual season schedule yet, but the Challenge Cup schedule is out. So
Yeah,
you can
okay.
find that on the Chicago Red Stars website or the NWSL website. I think I'm pretty sure I tweeted it too. So if you want to look there, if I didn't, I will tweet it right after this. And then what was the second part of the question?
How many games you guys have?
Oh Lord, I don't know. They haven't released the schedule. I don't know. They haven't released the schedule this
How
year.
many did you have last year?
We had 20.
Say
Man,
about
this is
22,
embarrassing. I should know this.
right?
There's so many. I feel like it's in the 20s, maybe 24. Maybe
Okay,
this year's 24.
maybe it's 24 with postseason.
Yeah, because we added San Diego this year and we added LA. So by adding those, it changes the game structure a bit.
Okay. Okay.
But we did what you were saying about the strike. We did. I don't know if you guys saw, but we just passed the CBA.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
The collective bargaining agreement.
I thought right before we came on.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes, which is awesome. And like for me to give you all the details, it's so long. Like I don't even know all the details because that thing, there's a lot. I have the main points, which big one, minimum is now 35. So that's a huge plus. That's so much higher than it used to be. Well, just so you guys know, when I came into the league, a first round draft pick, you're only making $16,000. So for it to now be at 35K, the whole season, that's what my first year made.
And you guys are in major metropolitan areas, which are not cheap to live in.
And I feel like people don't know these things, which is why I'm sharing with you. Like that's not a lot of money to be making as a professional athlete.
No, because like a lot of you guys were having second and third jobs, which
I actually worked. I worked a second job. I worked at so my off season, my first year, I worked at Lululemon. Second, when I came here, I worked a second job at Aviva, which is the Lululemon for little kids. I worked there for a year or two out in Skokie. And then when I was pregnant, I worked at a coffee shop in the West Loop. So basically that's the collective bargaining agreement. We got a lot of things. We got maternity, which is a big one because when I was pregnant, that wasn't a thing. So now 100% paid maternity, and then 6 or 8 weeks after the baby.
Good.
So so there's so many good things that are in there to really benefit the players that we really had to push for, and the committee that was on that did, like, I can't tell you how many hours they put in of their free time, like unpaid, to make this happen. So it's a huge push, and I feel like there's going to be more and more stuff come out about it. But if no one knew, like, it did go through, so that's a big
I missed that. It must have been looking at Olympic stuff. So or searching your old, like, what was the name of that old award she won in 2007? Okay. Stalkers. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's thrilling. I'm excited to hear that. Yeah, I was looking and I was thinking about getting season tickets this year, but I decided I didn't want to because I don't want to be, well, one, I will be everywhere in the world, COVID dependent, but two, I want to be able to bring people to your games. And like, so like every time I go, I don't want to just have like 2 tickets, right? I want to be like, hey, who wants to come? Who wants to do this? Who wants to ride? So I'm looking forward to.
Our supporters group is, they're called local. Local 1 through 4. I always mess up the numbers. 1 through 4. They're gonna hate me. I hope none of them are watching, but it's me messing up the numbers. But they're awesome. They're the best supporter group out there. You can find them on Twitter. I think they've got a link to actually. I think it might be $135 for season tickets. Yeah, which is
it was
a steal.
Like, and I was thinking about getting those because I was like, oh, we can get a pair, right? I could take someone to every game. But then I was like, but what if like 4 people want to go? Or what if I was like, let me just, I don't need to save money going to go see you guys play. I could pay, face value for every single time to put more money in your guys' bank. So I'm definitely looking forward.
Where did you say where are you located at? Are you located near SeatGeek out in Bridgeview?
No,
that
I'm
close
in.
to you?
I'm in.
am.
You are? Okay.
She
Yes.
is. Yes.
So I better be seeing you at some game snack.
Oh, absolutely. Because I have a little sister who she doesn't like to play, but she likes to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you
And
got
I live
in the DMs and on whatever game you want to come to, I'll get you some tickets.
Yay,
yes,
thank
and
you.
I live by Wrigley Field, so I can
you're
get
on the
there.
north side. Yeah, you can get there.
I can drive. I'll be there. It's kind of like a nice place for her and I to come together and meet up. So no, we'll definitely like once, and I will let you know when we're coming. But
let me know.
Super excited. So 2 final questions before we let you go get your dinner. Question 1: what advice would you give to a young athlete, maybe even your young self, on how to get to the level that you are at now?
I feel like the biggest piece of advice I could give is never settling for the level that you're at. So I feel like even now that I've made it professionally, I walk out of practices today like I shouldn't be a professional. That was terrible. What was I just doing? So I don't expect other people to set the bar for you. Set your bar for yourself and have expectations of yourself that are super high, and continue once you meet that, create something higher. Because I feel like as an athlete, sometimes we get complacent in where we are.
He was teasing me.
I'm so sorry. I was scrolling.
That was the most random thing I've ever experienced.
I was trying to click on something on the other side, and I don't know what I just clicked on.
I was like, am I a meme? Is this funny?
No, it's not.
Right. Like, what? We haven't done that before. Are we doing this now?
No, we're not. That was not supposed to happen. I was trying to click on a different.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god.
Okay, so never. That one was hilarious.
I'm glad it wasn't anything like bad.
I'm like,
Yeah,
what
I know.
do these?
That would've been
Because I share a
hilarious.
StreamYard with the guys' podcast. I'm like, what do they have saved on here? I was trying to get the dang lizard ready before you left. Frank says, how are you stealing AB's videos? Yeah, I know, Frank. I'm trying to get her lizard guy again. So sorry, I was gonna put the lizard again to exit you out, but
that's
whatever.
hilarious.
This is live. Hey,
this makes for good content.
absolutely.
This is where you get the good content.
I love it. So don't settle for the place that you're at. Oh my God. It was that all the guys are laughing. I know, I did it, you guys. Hit the rock, it doesn't matter.
I like Frank, he's funny.
Oh my God, you guys are so funny. Sorry, you were saying.
No, yeah, you already summarized it. Just hit me with the next question. Let's move on.
I was just about to say, let's just move this one right on along.
My God, hilarious. So, okay, final question is, and now I can't, oh, there's my lizard. Final question. If you were an Olympic athlete in the Winter Games, which sport would you be doing and why?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm stuck between two worlds because I'm like, do I want to be like cute and graceful and be an ice skater? But then I think back about all the goofy stuff that I do, and I'm like, I feel like I'm more like freestyle, like a freestyle snowboarder. You know, like I got this cool vibe.
I can see that
somewhere in between.
Yep.
But I think I lean more towards the freestyle snowboarding. For sure. Skiing, those fast skiers that are going like so many miles per hour down, that is terrifying. Never in the world would I ever do that. I mean, it is amazing what they do, but are they not scared? Like, that is really scary. Have you ever gone skiing? I can't even get off the lift.
There's something wrong with them up here. It's just my next door neighbor used to be a professional. He's like, yeah, I understand. Things I enjoy are things that could kill me. I'm like,
Yeah, pretty much.
I know. I
Like, as
watched
a
some of that
human,
stuff.
are you even supposed to be moving that fast outside of a car? Probably not.
Exactly.
No. Mm-mm.
No, but I mean, meanwhile, I'm over here saying I'd be a freestyle snowboarder. These guys are
I know,
upside
right?
down on this like half pipe. So by saying that, by no means could I ever do that. But if I could do that,
This is the imaginary world, though.
Yes.
So in your imaginary world, that is what you're doing.
Yes, and I would have a bunch of sick tats everywhere. I'd have some like iridescent goggles. Like I'd be cool. Like I'd have some swag for sure.
Oh, well, I appreciate your time so much. And I was going to show, there's our friend for today. He was just stopping by. He wanted to say, hey, Arin. But I really appreciate your time so much. It has been so great getting to know
It was
you.
lovely, lovely getting to know you.
Yes,
And we
thank
will
you
let you
guys.
know when we come to a game.
Yep.
I personally have I have an outside voice. So you might even hear me personally cheering.
Okay,
at the game.
I'm gonna like ask you what section you're in, and I'm gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, and Snacks also has an outside voice. So between the two of us, yeah, you will not miss us at all.
Oh well, I'm so excited. So I cannot wait to get you guys out to a game. And I had a blast on here. Honestly, it was like talking to some people I've known forever. So and
I
just met you guys.
I know. I love it. I love it. Thank and if for the preseason challenge cup, it is nice weather. Snacks and I might be there as well, but we are not going to make any promises for the months of March and April
I'm telling
in
you
Chicago.
right now, if it's under 50 degrees,
She doesn't do it. She won't be there.
Listen, if I wasn't contracted, I wouldn't be there either. That's the thing. It's just my job. I have to be there. Do I want to be there in the cold? No.
We'll be there like here though, in spirit, like 100% we'll be there for you.
Now I have a for real rooting interest. I'm definitely going to be watching more games, on live streams and stuff like that.
Well, I'm excited for you guys to tune in to have some other fans in the Chicago area.
Oh, and we'll get more people coming. Don't worry.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay. Well, let me know. I'll get you guys my soccer name. If you start looking up like the Red Stars, everyone in the soccer world calls me Gilly. I think I put AK. Gilly.
Yeah. Your maiden
and I meant to ask you.
My maiden name was Gilliland. So I used to be Arin Gilliland. And before I got married, everyone called me Gilly. Like since I was little, it was just like Gilly. So like on the soccer field, if anyone calls me Arin, I'm like, who's that? I don't know who that is. My name's Gilly.
I don't know that girl. I don't know. That ain't me.
But the thing is like I've stuck so true to it that like even now when the NWSL posts about it or something, they always say Arin Gilliland Wright. Like they still add it because like I'm like, no, my name's Gilly. Like so.
Got it.
So you guys know for the future, anyone watching, Gilly is the name in the soccer world.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Arin. Again, so nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, same guys. I hope
night.
you have a great night. I'm gonna enjoy my pizza and burrito.
Do it. Yay! Bye.
All right, bye guys. How do I actually exit out of this?
Oh, don't worry, I can remove you.
Oh, okay. I'm all for it. All right, bye guys.
Don't do it again. Bye. Why is she like our spirit animal?
Right. That was fun.
I'm like, she is 100% our, if we could have a spirit animal, I think it would be Gilly.
No, I think it would be that big old lizard. Because like we're both kind of cute, but kind of dangerous. So I might have to move on from the penguin because this
is a thing. Okay.
That thing.
I mean,
cool.
It will kill you. It will kill you.
You gotta be careful.
We're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back to discuss some fun Olympic action. And now let me make sure I put the right video on. But we're going to commercial.
Tranquility, Trey Bella. Alleviate the stress of your day. A fresh approach to nail care service at the top of the pampering scale. Awaken your senses with no chemical smells. Relax. We're at your service with professional, personalized treatments. Enjoy a manicure or pedicure tailored to you. Trey Bella Nail Spa, 10349 South Halsted in Chicago. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Trey Bella Nail Spa or book at TreyBellaNailSpa.com.
Can we talk about that commercial?
Sure.
Did you hear how the address was read?
No, I didn't. I guess I didn't pay attention to that part.
I see, I'm weird and I pick up on strange things. Instead of saying 10349, they said 10349. So, and I'm like, that is really weird. I have never
49
in the history of my Chicago life heard anybody say an address in the hundreds like that. That was weird.
Okay, yeah, because you could call something like 43, 30, 3660.
Right.
That's right.
It's always 103 or 111, but no.
I think it sounds more dignified.
349 South Halsted. And I was like, what is that?
That is, nope, never noticed. Never noticed, but now I will. So thank you. But hey, guess what? Now I have the address memorized up here because that's not going to
right now.
Head.
I mean, it worked. If the whole thing was to get the place in my head and thinking about it, now I'm thinking about that spot. I am
absolutely, which one should do. So let's talk some Olympics, and we're going to talk about our friend in the track world, Sha'Carri, with her statement.
Sha'Carri can't keep her mouth closed, Richardson.
Oh yeah, her. Have you heard of her?
Goodness gracious. Like sometimes just be quiet.
It's but let's talk about this though, because I've seen a lot of people posting about it, having opinions on it. And for anyone that might have lived under a rock, basically Sha'Carri had said something about how come she wasn't allowed to compete in the Olympics when the Russian figure skater is allowed to compete in the Olympics, even though she had tested positive. And so, of course, a lot of people are saying this is unfair, that's unfair, but, let's break it down. Do you want me to break it down? Should I break it down?
So, break down the difference or break down what happened?
I mean, I think to show the difference, we have to say what happened, right? So,
right.
Sha'Carri was not suspended by the IOC. She was suspended.
She was suspended by USADA and USA Track and Field.
Because the United States takes their doping seriously after their competitions.
Not dope, but that's a whole nother argument for a whole nother day.
Oh, trust me. I don't think weed should be on that list at all. No. But, just so people understand, like the U.S. takes it very seriously after our Olympic trials, our large competitions, the drug how fast do they come back? A couple days, a week?
No, not even, because she got tested after the final and she knew she got
the next day, I think.
You, like even at nationals on the college level, they pull the winners. So all of the winners are automatically tested. Yep. And then this on the college level. And then they pull in a couple of other people for random. But they pull you as soon as you cross the line. When you walk in back go through the tent. No, you go and you take your drug test. And she knew before she was going to be running, because she was also supposed to be running the 200.
And she scratched.
She knew before it was time to run the 200 that her test had came back negative. So that's the other part of it. This is the little Russian girl's A sample, and the test results just came back.
From December 25th.
From December.
From the Russian. So basically, the Russians tested
there was
her.
A Swedish lab. The lab that handled her.
To Sweden.
And so what usually happens is there's an A sample and a B sample. If your A sample comes back with something in it, then they test your B sample. Well, since they're just now 6 weeks later getting the results from her A sample, the B sample hasn't been tested yet, which is, I guess, one of the things they're waiting for before they decide what her ultimate suspension, if there is going to be one, what is going to be. They're waiting for the results from the B sample. But the other thing is the IOC kind of opened itself up to this because they specifically said in the case of Russian athletes that even though they can't compete under their nation's flag because their nation is banned, if they are cleared by their federation, they can compete under the flag of the Russian Olympic Committee. So that's the part of it that bothers me. It's like, is the country banned or is it not? How can your an Olympic committee from a country that is banned still be valid in any way? You don't want to punish clean athletes, but when you have state sanctioned doping, which is what the entire country got suspended for, like, how do you then say, oh, but their Olympic committee didn't do anything? So no, it was state sanctioned. That means if you're associated with Russia, it should be assumed that you were complicit in whatever type of doping was going on. So that's the biggest thing, is the IOC just being toothless when it comes to actually punishing the country the way that the country should be punished. But the other thing is, like, the fact that Sha'Carri is Black and this other girl is white, that's the thing that's the easiest to cling to.
Absolutely.
That's when it comes to, why is one being treated differently from the other? Race is what I would call low-hanging fruit. That's the thing you could grab on the quickest without looking at the actual differences in the cases. And for me, even beyond going into the politics and going into which federation was in charge of the suspension, this, that, or the other, one of them is a minor and one of them is an adult. And so I know when I was 15, if my parents or my coach would have given me something and said, here, take this, I'm not asking any questions.
No,
I'm assuming that
you don't understand. Yeah.
Right. I'm assuming that these adults have my best interests at heart and they're giving me something that I need to be taking. Sha'Carri was a grown woman who, for reasons that are very valid, because that's a coping, smoking weed is a coping mechanism for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But it was still an adult choice.
Right.
It was, she wasn't a 15-year-old girl and somebody said, here, hit this blunt. No, she was a grown woman, and that was how she chose to cope with the death of her mother. And she even said she knew what the consequences were. So, like, I guess the part about her opening her mouth is, how do you take accountability, but then question your punishment? You're either going to take accountability for what you did or you not.
Right, because she didn't appeal her suspension. She accepted it to get a minimum.
And she got on TV and said, I knew what potentially could have happened. I knew I was going to get drug tested and I knew I was going to fail. Like, she said those things. So this is just one of those instances where it's like, I just wish she wouldn't have said anything.
Same, because it's comparing apples to, I don't know, a TV. Something that's like not even in the same. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like, this whole thing about the ROC being allowed to compete and clear is the biggest amount of fucking bullshit. Because how can we trust Russia's anti-doping agency to do anything if they're just now sending samples of the A sample to somewhere else to be tested? They didn't put an expedite. They are just like, do it at your leisure.
And see, that's the other question that I have. When did they send when was this stuff tested? Was the sample sent right after it was taken, and it's just taken 6 weeks to do the lab test? Because I mean, I understand COVID. I understand being short-staffed and labs processing COVID tests and this, that, or the other. But 6 weeks is excessive.
But when you're saying this person is going to be competing in the Olympics soon and we need to know if they're clean or not, I feel like that should probably be expedited a little bit.
Right. And then to say nobody, if she does well, nobody can be on the medal stand. That's bullshit.
Biggest amount of fucking bullshit. Because, like, I'm sorry, if I'm winning bronze medal, I want to have a ceremony for it, you know?
Right.
And it's like you're not just punishing her, you're punishing the person that got silver, the person that got bronze, and most likely the person that got fourth place, because they're going to get bumped up to bronze. But guess what? None of them will get a medal ceremony. The team skating, how many people are on that team? All those people are, a lot. It's a whole squad. All those people are punished because the IOC doesn't want to put their big boy pants on and just outright ban the ROC.
And my thing is, do it like you do other sports when you find out somebody was doping. You just take the damn medal back. Like, you take it back.
Right, or you do the full medal ceremony and you take that shit back.
Right, and you reallocate the medals where they're supposed to go. But I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be like, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and fly back to China so we can do a real medal. Like, we're going to have a real formal medal ceremony when her case is sorted out. That shit could take months.
Yeah,
for this.
Exactly. And I don't even know the way that, like, did the lab even have the B sample? That was the weird part too.
I'm assuming if they have the A sample, they have to have the B sample, but you cannot subsequently take 6 more weeks. You know, you can't take 6 more weeks to test this B sample. Like, send the B sample somewhere else where we can get the results back, you know, by the time the closing ceremonies come.
Yeah, and if for some reason, fine, we let the ROC compete and shit, well, we need to know when they're doing their testing. We need to know if they're actually testing the shit and if they're testing it in a reasonable amount of time. If the U.S. can do it the next day, there is no reason why Russia can't do it in, give them a good 10 days. You know what I mean? Like, before, every athlete that get on the damn plane from China to Russia or from Russia to China should have had
every single athlete competing for the ROC.
Because now you're looking at every other ROC athlete wondering what the fuck is up with them, right? Because they were doing well on things like cross-country skiing. Guess what? Taking some heart drugs that are going to help your endurance and recover faster are going to really help you in cross-country skiing. So it is tarnished every single sport. And it's honestly, I am just X them out, man. Put them on the island like North Korea. They don't know how to play nicely. Get rid of them.
Right. You should. If you can't play fair, you can't play, period.
No. And it sucks. Does it suck for the athletes that are Russian? Yeah. But I mean, if you can't guarantee competition that's equal and fair, that it's, you know, because no, you know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, sure, maybe their athletes will test clean at the Olympics, but how do we know what was happening in those last 8, 9, 10 months when they were doing the majority of their training? We don't know if they're clean or not.
Right. And just because a drug isn't in your system anymore doesn't mean the benefits of that drug, you know, aren't still with you. Who knows if there were like permanent changes to the structure of her heart or whatever, or the function of her heart, where she may not be taking those drugs now, but she still is not tired after doing 1,001 quad jumps, that things women just don't do, you know. And I get it. She's 15, you know, she got a little bit, she has youth on her side, but there's still a certain level of exertion. Nathan Chen was freaking exhausted when he finished his program, you know.
As he should be.
And so it's reasonable to assume you should be fucking tired after doing something that no other woman in the world can possibly do.
Not to
And she
mention, yeah, and not to mention the fact in the gymnastics in the skating scoring, they have that gymnastics might have it the same, where in that last part of your routine when you're going to be tired,
get a bonus.
you get a bonus.
Mhm.
Because they know, guess what? These skills that you're doing, it's a hell of a lot harder to do them in the second half or the final 25%. I think is it half or quarter?
I think it's the second half in the short program. I don't know what point it is in the free skate.
Okay. But yeah, it's really this, like, we understand that if you did that skill earlier, you're going to be less tired if you do that skill later. Because if she's doing quads in the second half of her program, she's already getting the bump for doing a quad, and then she's getting an extra.
Then she's getting the bonus. Yep.
Yeah. Like you're in the damn bonus. Like, and that is exactly, and I think some people don't necessarily understand, like, oh, well, it's a figure skater. How would a performance enhancing drug help a figure skater, right? Because we kind of think of it like, oh, a performance enhancer makes your muscles grow, makes you lift stronger, but I mean, even with that, is
the power that you need to launch yourself into the air off of one foot, and that foot is on a single blade. It's not even like a full-footed jump. Like, have you seen the quads on figure skaters? They're ridiculous. So something that is going to help your endurance, now you can work out longer. Now you can do more, you can lift longer. Now you can
recover faster. And I think that's the one part about these drugs that people don't necessarily take into account is, like, you do this really hard workout, you have delayed muscle soreness, you need to do all these steps to get back to another hard workout. If you can take a drug where you can do 4 hard workouts in a week instead of 2 or 3, think of how much better you're going to be. And that is where that
fresh blood,
that is like why it is not allowed.
Yeah, the drug, I think the drug also supposedly helps circulation.
Yeah.
When that lactic acid starts to kick in, you need fresh blood circulating through your body. What? Good dope makes you strong, I guess.
Yeah, okay. It does. I mean, yeah, like it does make you stronger. But yeah, it's not just like physical strength. It is all of the different strengths that we have. Hockey players too, I always get compliment on my quads. Yeah, Frank, because the skating stuff, that takes a lot of balance, a lot of core strength, a lot of leg strength, and
that's why I got me some rollerblades. When this snow goes away, I'm gonna be on my rollerblades.
Getting it in. I see you. So, but yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk on that because so many people have been bringing it up, and it's like, it's not the same. It's one country playing by the rules. It's just a country not playing by the rules. And, because they don't have that.
If Sha'Carri was in Russia, we probably wouldn't have even found out about her smoking weed.
No, because the Russia would have not have tested for it, or they would have kind of covered it up.
Or they would have said it's not performance enhancing. Yep. So yeah, go ahead.
It's not, but yeah, it's really just the bullshit of Russia being Russia. Right. A lot of toughness too for the hockey. Fake teeth, scars on my face, never miss a game. Man, hockey guys are insane.
Psycho.
I know. Tell me where the psychos are. Oh, on the hockey court.
Or on
it's not a court. I know. It's a rink.
Ski jumping. Because that's also kind of psycho to me.
Kind of?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just kind of. Just fine. Whatever. No big deal. But other Olympic thing, your favorite winter athlete made history.
My girl, Arin.
Would you like to talk about that?
I was so, like, first of all, the story of how she got there is just one of the most touching things ever, because I saw her slip. Like, I watched the speed skating trials, and I saw her slip. And when it happened, I'm like, that is all it takes in speed skating. Like, even though she didn't fall all the way down, that slip was enough. And then when I read that had she fallen all the way down, she would have been allowed to skate. It's like, damn, maybe you should have just went ahead and failed. But I kind of understood, why she didn't. She's number one in the world. You know what I'm saying? She's probably like, even with this slip, I should be able to.
And you only have that very brief split second to decide, am I going to get to the finish line or am I just going to fall? Right? Because you're like, oh, I hope I fall and I hope they let me reskate. Like, that's a lot to process in a split second.
And it's a very short race. The 500 is because, if just in case people may not know, the size of a speed skating track is the same size as an outdoor track. Is 400 meters. So you get a little over a lap, and it's like you don't really have time to decide. Let me just go ahead and go down. But the fact I always wonder if one of the girls who did come in first or second had not been a friend of hers, would that person have still given up their spot? Because she wasn't obligated to. She had earned her spot, fair and square. But it's like, this chick is number one in the world and she's my friend. So I love that part about it. And
she had other events that she was doing that she was a lot better at. This was, I think, her third. Yeah, this was her third event. This was kind of the give it a try event.
Like, I did it because I can, but this is not where I make my money. So I was definitely glad that she did give her the spot, even though I was like, well, now it's more pressure on you, because if somebody give up their spot, and then you go and you don't win, like, bitch, I gave you my spot. Like,
although she did get the spot because they ended up giving the U.S. a third once they're doing the distribution, but in that moment we didn't know, which is, I think, the bigger story.
I still don't understand how that whole quota thing works, but it worked out in our favor. So I'm just glad it did. And then for her to actually come through and win it, it was just, I cried a little bit. I did. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. I was super excited for her, super happy for her, especially because she's a nerd like me.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, she's like, her hobby is going to school. She has a degree in kinesiology and another degree in something else, and she wants to combine them all and get into biomechanics and this and I'm like, oh my God, that is me. Except you. I would never go to school for it because I don't like these. I'm not. But yeah, it was really, really nice to see, a black nerd, and she's she's kick ass on, in her sport. And I didn't know she just learned how to ice skate, like, I think maybe 5 years ago or something. It's something very recent.
I'm sorry,
she
what?
She was an inline skater. I didn't know that was a thing. I did not know you could be a professional inline skater. And that's actually how they train. So the place where she trains in Ocala, Florida, is like supposedly a hotbed for speed skaters. And ain't no ice in Florida. They do inline skating on a track. So she was a former professional inline skater and roller derby girl. Hasn't even been ice skating for all that long and is coming out here killing it like that. So I think that's the better part of her story. The fact that, she is not a lifelong ice skater by any means, and has been, and so I was, watching some of the behind the scenes stuff. A lot of really good speed skaters from the United States transition from being inline skaters.
I did not know that at all. Wow.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty cool how
it's kind of like a lot of the bobsled pushers were track sprinters.
Or throwers, because Asia Evans, she graduated from my high school, and she was a bobsled pusher.
Yeah. It was yeah, there's definitely it's cool how some sports transition over, and some people are just honestly freaks of nature.
Didn't Lolo try to be a bobsledder too?
She made the Olympics for the last bobsled.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The last, not this year, but the 4 years ago. I think she was on the US's B team because I think they had two teams for the duels. But yeah, she was a pusher as well.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, I mean, because it turns out it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Can we talk about a sport that I did? So my buddy sent me a meme. I think I sent it to you of the doubles luge, and I thought that was not a real thing.
Yeah, no, it is. And when I first I don't know why me and my mom are like Winter Olympics fanatics, because we like to see those obscure sports that, Europe goes crazy for, but we just whatever. I don't think I had ever seen doubles luge until now. And maybe if I did, I just kind of put it out of my brain. But I saw that and I'm like, first of all, I think I could luge by myself. I think that's something that I could try. I don't want to be on like a for real hill where I'm going 70 miles per hour, but maybe like 30 or 40.
Okay.
But I'm not doing that with somebody laying on top of me. And like they're not strapped to each other. It's not like a tether and a tandem. It's like, who thought of that?
It's a grown man laying on top of another grown man, both of them face up, and I just
flying down the hill at 70 miles per hour.
Right, because you're going to go faster because you have all that weight on there, and then you have to steer from below another.
I don't know. Like, I know when it's two people in the bobsled, like one person drives and the other person pulls the brake. Who's steering in the luge? And like the person on top, do you just have to like lay as stiff as a board, or like do you intertwine? I didn't even look close enough to see, like, do you like wrap your arms around? How in first? Who lost a dare? Because that can't be that can't be something that was planned. Like, yeah, we're gonna get these two dudes and we're gonna lay them together and push them down the hill together. Like, no, somebody had to be like trying that for fun, and then somebody else was like,
realize how fast they can go, or
right. And it's like, one person doing this just isn't enough. Let's go ahead and throw another person on top.
How do you decide who goes on top and who goes on
bottom? Like, is the person on top the lighter person, and is the person on top there just to make it harder for the person underneath? Like, what the fuck is the point of putting two people on a luge? I don't understand.
I have so many questions. I have I know. Yeah, it's I have so many questions, and I don't have any answers. I feel like, like I said, I was sent that meme on Instagram, and I was like, this isn't a real thing. Who made? I'm thinking this was something like Will Ferrell's Blades of Glory movie. Like, yes. I'm like, is this from like Blades of Glory? Oh, this is a real thing. Oh,
and I vaguely remember hearing them say, yeah, and we're gonna have doubles luge. And in my head, I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how do you even have doubles luge? So I didn't even give it a second thought. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that shit. They just make.
I would think maybe it's like two people like both on their own luge, like going
like maybe
down,
it's
or one
a double, wider
like you're laid next to each other.
I don't know what I was thinking, but it wasn't that. It
sure
was not like, because like you've seen how they have to start. So how do you eat? Are both of y'all sitting up and like one is between the other one's legs and y'all both like paddle? Like, how? Now I'm going to have to go, and now I'm going to have to figure this out, because now that I see it's a real thing and people weren't just, talking out the side of their necks. when they said doubles luge. Now I have to see how this works because it's not making. I'm not making the connection.
I have so many questions. I really just want to know everything and nothing.
It's one of those things that kind of makes you feel dumb because, like, it should make sense if you watch sports and you watch luge, and I love luge.
Yeah, it's badass.
But it's not making sense to me.
Maybe there's a reason why we haven't seen it because the U.S. doesn't put it on primetime TV.
Well, yeah, that and the fact that, you know, if it's not football or basketball or to a certain extent baseball, it's kind of on the back burner in
right.
this
Well,
country.
even in the Olympic coverage, like we don't see a lot of the sports during the prime time.
Right.
So
unless
we'll see like singles luge, but
yeah, like I don't even think did they even play like the finals of doubles luge, or did they put that on USA? Because you know they've been putting a lot of stuff on USA Network now that there's no more NBC Sports Network.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, like you, we're gonna need to go down that rabbit hole and learn a lot about doubles luge. Because we have questions.
Googling it up because I have to know. I need to know. Like I just, you know, the only thing I feel like I really absolutely need to know is how do you start? Because I know how a single luger starts.
Yeah.
You sit on there with your butt and you paddle, and then you lay down.
I'm guessing you do it the same way. You just sit on their lap and you both paddle.
You gotta have some long ass arms though. Like
maybe only the bottom person okay.
This
is
the logic behind how it's too much.
Okay, I'm gonna be doing some YouTube video tonight after I pack because I need to now figure this one out.
Yeah, I gotta know. Got to know.
Final question of the night for you. If you were to be an Olympic winter athlete, which sport would you do?
Luge.
Love it. Love it. No question asked.
Because I'm clumsy. So just even the idea, I can ice skate. So you know what? I take it back. I would probably be a speed skater. A long track speed skate. But that's just like logical me, like the athlete that I am now. Sounds like, yeah, it does sound like
Karma Sutra came up.
Somebody had a crush on their teammate and was like, "Bro, why don't you come lay on top of me and let's do this shit together?" That's how it came. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's how it came together. But no, like logically, I would be a speed skater because I was a track girl and I was a tumbler, so I got all that, quad strength. But in imaginary land where everything is upside down and we walk backwards, I would be a loser. Not a double loser. You're not laying on top of me.
What if I want to lay on top of you, Snacks? That is my dream.
No, thank you. No, not on no ice.
Fair. Well, in my dream world, you and I would do doubles bobsled.
Oh my God.
And you would be my pusher.
I was just about to say, because I will not drive. I can drive a car, but no, I want to be the person that's ducked down in the back. And when it's time to stop, I'm just going to pull the brakes.
So that is in our dream world. You and I are going to be doubles bobsledders.
We'd be dope.
Damn straight. If only I wasn't afraid of going fast down ice, I think we'd be perfect.
Well, see, the bobsled, it's like,
it's not as fast.
It kind of is.
I mean, it is fast, but
the fastest. So one of my old teammates, Perdita, she does the national broadcast in Canada for the Olympics, and she puts a quiz up in her Instagram stories all the time. And I didn't know luge was the fastest sport. Yeah,
because of the way it's just single you, and the thing isn't very.
But a bobsled is like 400 and something pounds. So you would think like all of that force and weight, but no, it's not. Luge is the fastest sport, which is, scary.
Yeah.
Geez.
Yeah.
But at least if you like fly off of a luge, you don't have a 400-pound sled on top of you, like when they crash in bobsled.
Fair. All right, we're doing doubles luge. So, man, it's getting close to I gotta pack and go to bed because I'm going to Phoenix tomorrow. This winter storm better hold off so I can get on my freaking flight. Got a baby shower to go to.
It's supposed to still be raining in the morning. So as long as you heading out in the morning, I think you'll be
11
fine.
a.m. I should be good. Why don't you give us some shout outs and we can get ourselves a little wrapped up? Who do you want to shout out to?
Shout out to everybody that's watching. Love you guys for watching and tuning in. Apparently people liked me, so that's why I'm back. So thanks for liking me so that I can come back. Shout out to my family because I love them. And shout out to everybody who got to deal with this weather because it sucks. And that's about. And shout out to you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Shout
out to AB for saving those videos. My Lord, there's some weird things on here, and you know what?
You're gonna learn today.
Yeah, see, it all seems to be some kind of like comedian. So maybe they do a lot of funny shit on their show.
They do. He does. He has all of these, but I didn't realize how many ones they're in here, guys. And but now my picture of that little lizard is in there. So I want to shout out to our guest today. She is mine and Snack's spirit animal. Again, talk about meeting someone for the first time and thinking that you knew them for like 15 years because
super cool.
She's super dope. But yeah, I am not going to go searching through all.
Right now, you got me wondering what the rock one is.
I don't know because they're not all labeled. Some of them are labeled something. Y'all are just. I know. There's none that are labeled rock.
It doesn't matter how it makes you feel.
Okay.
I hope that was the right one because I mean, goodness.
Oh my Lord. Man, y'all are funny. I'll have to get more acquainted. I've seen him put all these videos up, but boom, you see, that was the one. But yeah, man, shout out to the guys with the podcast. AB, JB. I know there's multiple. T-Nick. Without them, I wouldn't be here because they did all the background work on this. And yeah, that's really shout out to my guest, shout out to the podcast, and everyone that's listening and will watch tomorrow or listen later. You guys have a great night. And on that note, this has been She Said What She Said.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production. We out!